So what else do we use to understand how and in what way we work with people to motivate them, inspire them, lead them? I think we use intuition. And so I do have a client who's an engineer, very scientifically trained. He came to me and said, I feel like I know there's something next for me. The reason I know that is because I know I want more, and I don't know where do I point my energy? Like, what do I focus on? And this happens a lot. People will say to me, "You tell me, what do you see in me that needs to be, upgraded or alchemized, if you will, or transformed?" And, I think like every good coach knows, it's not an answer for me to, that's not a question for me to answer. So I said to him, I'm going to ask you a question. It's going to feel really odd. The instruction is to receive the question and answer it any way it makes sense to you. And I said, what does your intuition tell you about what you should be focusing on? And you could tell he literally was like, what? Like he just, the gears were, he's like, I don't get it. I don't understand what you're asking me. I said, that's fine. And the instruction is let the question land, answer it the way it makes sense to you. And the first part of his answer, I don't remember, but I think what he was doing was just like letting the gears turn. He started talking and then he said, oh, I was given feedback a really long time ago. And the feedback was, and it still remains true. The feedback was, I tend to look for external validation, and I really tend to overplease. That's a really different way to orient toward the world. Rather than having an internal kind of reference point for decision making, the way he was describing this was like, oh, it's like pretty consistently externally focused. And he said, and now I'm at this stage where I just feel like I don't get enough validation and I feel like I'm constantly doing things. I recognize that's getting in my way. This is it. This is where you would, if you were free of this, that would set you free for good. And what was interesting is that as we explored it more and we were talking about it, just all these light bulbs started going off for him. And he said, oh my God, I also see this at home. You will benefit from understanding how can that come from within you. Intuition, in a funny way, led him to that insight. And he may or may not, quote, believe in intuition. He may or may not ever refer to it again, but it helped kind of shift the mind out of that kind of more linear, logical, data-based part of us to a much more we call like sometimes we call it like the soft side of things, and yet it's the hardest thing to access. So it's not that soft, it's not that easy, but it's much more fluid and organic. And we are that. We are both of those things. Humans don't elegantly lay on a spreadsheet well. It's so interesting when we're talking about either ourselves or the people we work with, because there can be metrics, and I think metrics are incredibly helpful in our leadership because that which gets tracked gets done. We know that. And the reality is that we are much more complex as beings. And so data only gets us so far. So what else do we use to understand how and in what way we work with people to motivate them, inspire them, lead them? I think we use intuition. We're not just one intelligence, meaning I'm not only my intellect. All of this, to me, leadership intelligence is pointing to we embody and possess multiple intelligences, not just what happens in our minds or our brains, but multiple intelligences.